if there's an agent out there and they're like, you know what, I really need, if you could give them one thing that they should focus on within their business that is guaranteed to drive results, if they're not getting the results they would like, what's one thing you're like, if you implement this, you're going to see results, your income's going to grow, you're going to make more sales, and it's going to benefit them later?
Base level is just activity.
Yeah.
Just keep yourself active. And that's true no matter where you are in your growth. I mean, it's especially true when you're new.
Finally, get to hang out with my good buddy Tony Merwin, interview style. You've been on several videos, but never actually got a chance to interview you.
No.
Okay? This is one of my favorite people in the world. What's your title, would you say, at PSM?
Executive Marketing Director.
Executive Marketing Director, Precision Senior Marketing. He's got an amazing wife, Grace, who's tearing it up in the Medicare space as well. One of my favorite couples in the whole wide world. Okay, if you ever get a chance to meet and hang out with Tony Merwin, you got to do it. This dude's a master networker, and I'm curious for those that are out there that are like, man, I would like to be really good at networking and being social and being around people. Where does that come from? Have you always been that way? Is it a skill you've adopted over time?
I've always, ever since I was a little kid, been kind of an outgoing, really enjoyed being around people.
Yep.
Somewhat like to be the center of attention, I guess.
Yeah.
So I've always been surrounded by friends and whatever that just enjoyed being around me because I guess I was fun or whatever. So I've always kind of had that natural gift, if you will.
Yes.
And then over the years, I've learned to polish it and understand how to use it professionally.
Wow.
Right? To just not be afraid to approach people, find out, talk about them, who they are, and then just listen and pick up a lot of great nuggets.
Why do some people struggle with that? You're really great at it, by the way. Why do some people struggle with that? Everybody always wants to talk about themselves, and it's just so easy to do.
Well, we all love to talk about themselves. I love to talk about myself. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm on an interview talking about myself right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Love doing it, but there's a place and time for it.
Yes.
And I think some of it comes with fear, right? Fear of meeting somebody new, fear of going out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
Maybe this person will reject me. Maybe they won't like me. I don't know what to ask them. I don't want to sound like an idiot. So I think it's just our own brain that gets in the way.
Do you have some go-to stuff that you ask that you always are thinking to mention or ask or it just flows?
I would say a lot of times it just flows, but usually if like I'm at an event like this,
Yeah.
I want to talk about this event because that's the easy lead in.
There you go.
Right, so you can get them to open up. Hey, you enjoying the event? What do you like the most?
That's
anything
cool.
that's really stuck out. Have you been in any of the breakout sessions? Which one did you learn from, or what did you
Yes,
learn, or which
yes.
one anybody notable you've met? Like just ask them, what they're learning at the event and kind of what they're picking up. If they have plans throughout the event, like what do you got going on? You got dinner plans, because
Yes.
you might find out that maybe
they
want to
had-
go to dinner with you,
Or they have dinner plans,
something,
but they
or-
don't realize it, and
Correct.
then they don't come to dinner with you.
So there's a lot of things you can ask. Just keep it simple at first and talk about the event, and then as that grows, you'll lead in with questions like, well, what do you do? What kind of, are you doing Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage? Are you a life insurance guy?
Yes.
Where do you fit in here? And then tell them a little bit about your business, maybe some of the challenges you're having.
Yep.
Maybe they can help you, or maybe ask them what kind of challenges they're having. So
And they can also do that. Like if you're in a networking group, right, and you go to a networking group, talk about the networking group. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
new here. How long have you been doing this? Who do you like?
Exactly.
Who should I meet? When can we do lunch? That's not hard.
it's just like meeting a casual friend that
Yes.
you might bump into and meet somewhere that you maybe haven't seen in a while, or maybe that you meet for the first time that's introduced through mutual friends. The difference now is that there's a professional layer of conversation that's being inquired about, but don't overthink it. Truthfully, is just
Yes.
don't overthink it.
Yes.
Just talk to people and listen. Be yourself. Be authentic.
You're rocking the Cole Haans. I'm rocking the Travis Matthews today.
Yeah.
How important is it to have Cole Haans when you're in the insurance business?
It's not in the least bit important.
Oh.
Comfortable shoes are important.
Sorry, Cole Haan.
Name brand, not so important. Comfort is important, especially if you're a field agent running around on your feet all day, which is how I cut my teeth.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. I cut my teeth. Well, before I got into insurance, I was doing door-to-door, doing sports promotions and outside sales and marketing. And then when I got into insurance, I was selling cancer policies, for cancer treatment policies for Family Heritage. No leads, none of that. Just go out into the field, bang on doors, find out who wants to talk about cancer, which everybody does, oddly enough. It's a joke, because it's a tough product to market door to door. But
Totally.
you can you know this. You've marketed door to door. You know what it's like. It's the same thing regardless. But that's how I cut my teeth. So
I think everybody should have to cut their teeth
I agree. So
by
shoes were
going door
super
to door.
important.
Yeah, for sure. And those are comfy. Those are great,
These are
especially
super
this
strong.
concrete floor.
I used to wear. They didn't have dress shoes back then, with
Yes.
like tennis shoe soles that are comfortable now.
Yeah.
Like this is a new trend, which is awesome.
Yes.
So there were days I was wearing tennis shoes in the field running around because just try to get the nicest looking pair of tennis shoes you can, wear them.
Yeah.
Because dress shoes, they don't do well on concrete
No. It's
for
brutal.
8-10 hours a day.
Yeah, it's brutal. So you were cutting your teeth door knocking. Actually, I'm curious about the sports promotion piece. What were you door knocking and selling with that? 'Cause
We
that's
were
really
doing
cool.
like sport ticket packages, season ticket packages,
Okay.
membership drives for golf courses, things
Were
of
you
the
door
nature.
knocking businesses? For
We
that?
do business and residential. We did
Wow. Did business do better? for that?
Not necessarily, but all depends on the guy.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it sometimes
that's true.
depends on the promotion, sometimes, but again, it just depends on the guy. I mean, there's really no difference. It's just another group of people, law of numbers. You're just able to get out there and see people. One thing that was true about businesses is that, especially if you were any good, you could get in there and you could sell multiple packages to one guy because he might buy them for his whole team
Yep.
or his office or some of his
I would've done
vendors or
that.
things like that.
Should have knocked on my door. I'd have done that.
Right. Versus in the residential, usually maybe they just bought one card for themselves and their family kind of thing.
How long ago was that when you were doing that?
That was the year 2000. I started with them in 97. Is that right?
Okay.
97 or 98, if I remember
I
correctly.
probably wouldn't have bought it. I was 10, so
Yeah.
scratch that. Okay.
And then around 2000 was when they gave me the opportunity to work in their sports division. I got to go out to California and hang out in Anaheim and Sacramento. Got to work with the Anaheim Angels,
Really?
the Mighty Ducks hockey team,
Wow.
the Oakland A's, Sacramento
Seriously?
Wildcats, some of the minor league teams as well. So it was cool. I mean, I didn't get to hang out with the players,
No, but that's really cool.
but
though.
I did get to tour the facilities, the locker rooms, some of that
Yep.
stuff, but never when any of the players were around.
I don't think I've said this much. My goal as a kid was actually to be a sports agent.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to start our own sports agency one day or something, or speaker bureau or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We both have a love for public speaking, by the way.
Yeah.
Where does that come from for you?
I think it originally came from growing up in church and people speaking.
Same.
The church that I grew up in was a non-denominational Christian church. We had, our minister, our pastor.
Yep.
He always gave the sermon every week, but we had other ministers and deacons and leaders in the church that would rotate through and do the sermonette or the short talk. Maybe
Yes.
they do 30 minutes and he does the hour long. And so I got to see a variety of different people speak. So I got to see all these different styles, the
Yes.
quiet, compassionate delivery, and then the attack speech where the guys like to slam the podium and
Yeah.
scare the Bible into you kind of guy. So I got to see all these different kind
I
of
saw a lot of
personalities.
those.
Right. And I thought that was really neat. It's like, wow. And then there were certain speakers like, oh, it's this guy, it's Mr. Seaver again, or it's
Yes.
Mr. Fisher again. I like it when he talks because he's the one that really rattles me, gets
Yes.
me feeling it. So I was introduced to that at a very young age and really thought that was cool. And then as I started to get older and started to see other speakers, or listen to them, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, some of those different guys, I started to realize, this is something that I really like, and this is something I
Yeah.
could see myself doing, or
Was there
would
s-
enjoy doing.
Yeah, was there something you noticed about some of the speakers that you gravitated towards the way they spoke or their storytelling, or was there something that you were like, man, I want to be better at that?
I like people that could speak authentically,
Yep.
extemporaneously about any subject, but also with passion.
Cool.
So you knew what they were talking about, they believed in, they felt it, and they could transfer that energy to you.
Yes.
That's what makes a great speaker.
Yes.
It doesn't mean they have to be loud and excited. And people can get that same feeling with the quiet, soft tone and just
Yeah,
how
yeah.
they deliver the message that they're giving.
Yes.
But I love it when a speaker can transfer that energy to you and really make you feel what he's feeling inside
Yes.
when he's talking. And then in 6th grade, I got into speech class. Tried
Okay.
that out, and that's one of the electives you got to pick or whatever. It's either
Yeah.
that or whatever, home ec or something. I don't remember, but so I chose speech and was fairly good at it. Enjoyed it, and then 7th grade I did another speech semester or whatever.
Yes.
And then when I got into college, I did speech again while I was going to college as an elective, and the guy that taught the professor that taught that speech class was also the debate coach. So one day, he wants us to do a persuasive speech of our choosing. And at the time, I was dating a girl who was in that class with me.
Yeah.
And so we decided that we wanted to do the pro and anti perspectives of the same topic.
Cool.
Right, and we chose censorship, music censorship.
Okay.
Right, and she gave the pro-censorship argument, and I gave the anti-censorship argument, and we even rearranged our speaking time so that we could go back to back. Right, so I
nice.
traded with another girl that didn't want to go that early in the series.
Yes.
I was like, I'll go early on day one, I don't care, because we want to do this. Well, she did hers and she did a great job. And then I got up and I started the talk, and I started with an attack speech style, really pushing the First Amendment and our right to freedom of speech. And as I would say 5-10 seconds into me starting to speak, I saw that professor was really making notes, and I started talking, and then he looked up and he realized what was going on, that we were basically doing a debate right there. And I had no idea at the time that he was even the debate coach. I just thought I was in speech class. And then at the end of the class, he came up, both to us, and he was like, hey, I need y'all on the debate team.
Yes.
And so we jumped on, we did debate for a semester with him, and that was a blast.
That gives you some confidence at that age to really be sought out by somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
I had a few of those moments in my childhood where someone like spoke positively into me, or they were like, man, you're going to be good at this, or wow, you're impressive, or this kind of stuff. How much does that translate later in life when you're moving into business and you already know that you're good at speaking, somebody sought you out, you're good at, debating, etc. And how did that translate into your business career?
It's a huge confidence builder, like you said, but it translates well, especially in sales, because if you're any good at sales, you're speaking pretty much all the time.
Yes.
Right? So you have to have that confidence to know that I can transfer my thoughts and my concepts to you, and you will understand what I'm talking about. You'll get what I'm driving at.
For sure.
And I can influence and motivate change with you, right, through those words. So huge confidence thing, and definitely, it's anybody that can take some time to practice public speaking in any capacity in sales, they're going to do much. You'll do better in any career, but especially in sales, because it does involve so much talking. And a big part of that was doing door-to-door sales. When you're talking to 100 new people every single day, banging on doors, you never know who's behind the other door. You just, by that activity, you quickly learn how to start talking and relating to people.
Yes.
Without even trying, it happens. Because you
You're
don't have a
getting
choice.
feedback
Right, because you're
live.
constantly getting feedback all the time.
Yeah.
So do that for, a few weeks, and you get pretty quick at it, and then do it for years. Obviously, you're going to get pretty polished at talking to people.
Totally. What was your best day or week or month or year as an agent where you look back and you're like, dude, this stretch, I was on fire?
I would say I'm in that space right now, to be honest with you.
Okay. That's a good
not
feeling.
trying to say brag, but I feel like that each year perpetually gets better.
Yes.
And that's what I love about insurance, because it's such a compounding effect, and that's not just in the income side of it with renewals, but in your ability to grow and professionally drive yourself. You should be able to grow professionally and compound every year as well. Assuming that you're, number one, showing up and you're coming to events like this, you're tying in, you're learning, and you're not just like, I'm good. I'm stagnant, I'm fine writing 100 apps a year, that's okay. Every year I want to be able to increase how much production I'm able to do, how many more people I'm able to turn on, recruit, work with, elevate their income as well. So
Yes.
I'm not only always looking to grow my income, but my abilities and my knowledge, my skill set.
What do you look for when you're looking to partner with agents and help agents across the country? What do you seek out and look for? And what are some pros and what you're really seeking it out? But what's also some like cons or like turnoffs for you?
I'd say my favorite number one quality that I like in an agent is resourcefulness.
Okay.
Right? They have the ability to manage themselves from a resourcefulness standpoint, that if they don't know the answer, they know to go find the answer, and they're not afraid to go look for the answer. And they have that ability to kind of self-manage themselves in that way, where they don't have to pick up the phone and just call somebody every time just for a simple answer. Like, they know how to go look for it. And be careful that you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying if you're an agent that works with me, don't call me and ask me questions. That's not it.
Yeah.
But if you're resourceful, if you're truly resourceful in an independent way to manage yourself, then that means that you have the skill to be successful as an independent agent. Because independent agent, you're your own boss. Nobody's going to get you out of bed in the morning. Nobody's going to tell you to call the leads. I mean, we might recommend you call them, but ultimately you're the one that's got to pick up the phone and call them.
Yes.
So if you have the ability to be resourceful and manage yourself in that way, to get information, put it in play, and put it in action, that's the best skill an agent can have. Everything else you can learn. It's hard to learn resourcefulness. That's something that's inside, I think, people. They have the confidence to be like, I don't know the answer, but I know where to go look for it, and I'm going to go look for it.
Yep.
Right? And then they learn it, and then they put it into play. Pretty much everything else in insurance you can learn.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. If there's a couple more questions, if there's an agent out there and they're like, you know what, I really need, if you could give them one thing that they should focus on within their business that is guaranteed to drive results, if they're not getting the results they would like, what's one thing you're like, if you implement this, you're going to see results. Your income's going to grow. You're going to make more sales, and it's going to benefit them later.
Base level is just activity.
Yeah.
Just keep yourself active. And that's true no matter where you are in your growth. I mean, it's especially true when you're new. If you're a brand new agent in your first year, maybe 2 years, pretty much 90% of your activity is prospecting, and it needs to be. Until you get a book of business that's big enough that it requires your time from a service standpoint, and you can even outsource that stuff so that your time is free to continue prospecting. But that's the number one thing that you should always be doing. You should always be prospecting.
So
as soon as you stop prospecting, your business stops growing. And you have to always keep that pipeline full. So you can always focus on activity. If that's the one thing, again, it's kind of about resourcefulness, right? If you can learn all the other things in insurance and we'll iron all those out, but you have to bring the activity. If you have that and you're willing to stay active and keep yourself busy prospecting and looking for organic growth in your business, the rest of it again can be learned and will blossom as the activity pushes.
Yeah, because you're either prospecting or selling. Like as an agent.
Correct.
Is there anything else really?
They're really not.
Yeah, there's some admin work, but
right, there's
you're
some
not
admin work, but if
prospecting
you don't
or
have a book
selling.
of business, there's nothing admin in the first place. So,
Yeah.
That's when I told Grace when she started, I'm like, look, you should always be prospecting. That's the number one thing. Like, don't ever stop. 8 hours a day, that's what you should be doing.
What do you think the average agent spends per day in either prospecting or selling? If like the average agent out there, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, based on what I've seen, I would say the average guy's probably spending maximum around 4 hours really prospecting hard.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about a good agent that goes in the office, bangs out, 4 hours or maybe 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, and he's just hardcore on the phone prospecting. I would say that's about it.
That's crazy.
And that's not terrible, but...
And you could make 6 figures working 20 hours a week in this business.
Truly could.
I mean, you don't want to.
No.
I don't think, but you technically could.
You have trouble doing it in your first year unless you're Cody Askins, but you didn't work 20 hours a week.
20 hours.
You worked a lot more hours than that, I'm sure.
I would work 20 hours on the weekend.
And I was terrible when I first started, and I had to put in 60 hours just to try to get a few sales. It took me a while. I was kind of a slow learner in insurance for a bit. Particularly I struggled with that cancer product, and I just wasn't very good at selling it. And then when I got introduced to Medicare, it made more sense to me. I also learned, because I have a passion for the elderly, that this was a space where my heart belongs, right? So once I got into Medicare, I picked it up faster and I started doing a lot better. Not to mention the comp was a lot better, which made it easier.
True that. Okay, true that. What's one thing I haven't asked or talked about that you would like to share with our agents on the channel that are jumping in and hanging out with Tony and I today here in Illinois? Because you're a great speaker off the cuff anyway, so he could have went like 20 minutes with me not even asking anything, by the way. Every time I'm at a conference and I'm speaking, what do I always do?
Hey, introduce me.
Dude.
You want to introduce me? I'm like, sure.
He's phenomenal at it too.
Well,
and it gives us both a chance to work those muscles.
Yeah. And so this will lead into what you haven't asked. It's a philosophy that I try to base a lot of my own personal activity on. We've talked about it before, but it's a quote that Sun Tzu, who wrote The Art of War, which is a phenomenal book. Even if you're not into war, it's a great book on strategy and mindset. And kind of how to base your activity and your strategy on building your goals and attacking your business. Great book. Awesome. But there's a quote in there that said that opportunities multiply as opportunities are seized, which basically means if you're willing to put yourself out there and take advantage of opportunity or try it, right, take a stab at it, then you're going to get more opportunities. So I mention that because just like you said, like every time that you ask me, like, hey, you want to introduce me at this event? I'm like, yes. I'm always going to say yes. For 2 reasons. One, it's an opportunity that I get to work with you, which I always look for. It's an opportunity that I can continue to practice my craft of public speaking and doing introductions and emceeing. So it's always an opportunity. And every time I take advantage of that, somebody notices it.
Yeah, it's FaceTime too.
FaceTime, somebody catches it, even if it's just me introduce you for 3 minutes.
Yes.
3 people came and talked to me after I introduced you. At the end of that talk.
That's awesome.
One of them gave me a gift. The other 2 scheduled appointments with me to talk about business later.
Wow.
So those, like taking that opportunity to put myself out there in front of the right, because you draw a big audience.
Thanks,
so I'm like, yeah, if I can take 3 minutes to hang out with Cody's audience and get some attention, I want it.
Yeah.
Because I seize that opportunity and I get more. And it's blossomed because I got the opportunity to speak at Medicare Con.
Yes.
I've had the opportunity to speak on panels here now because people have seen me speak. I'm like, okay, this guy can handle himself okay as a speaker. So that's who we want on the panel. We want people that can speak well, or we want
Correct.
someone that can, give a talk well, or MC an event well. So I'm always looking to take those opportunities because it's going to help me get better, and then I'm going to get more opportunities because of that.
Totally. That's so good to be seeking out opportunities, pushing the envelope, getting out there. Tony's moderating a panel at 3:45 that I'm on. That'll be a ton of fun. Okay. We met a few people that were here that are subscribed to the channel. If you're not, please do me a favor and come hang out with Tony and I in some city sometime. Okay.
Houston, coming up soon.
Yes, October the 8th, Houston. We're doing a 10-city road show. No matter where you are in the country, I promise you, we will be by your door. Close enough that you could drive. The question is whether you're actually going to show up, okay?
Yes.
Say an agent's struggling, they're thinking about quitting. What's some parting motivational words you can add before we wrap this up?
Don't quit. Don't quit.
Yeah.
Listen to me very closely here. I sucked at insurance for a long time. If you don't quit, life and insurance eventually gets really good. This is, especially in the Medicare space, you can be average at Medicare and still make a killing in just a couple, 2 or 3, maybe 4 years at worst. And I'm talking renewal income that now works for you. Just don't quit. Push. Stay in it. Stay committed to your goals. This business gets really good as long as you just stick around long enough, I promise. You don't have to make $100,000 your first year. I mean, do it if you can. But, try as hard. But even if you don't be like, oh, I failed. This sucks. I quit. No. The average agent in their first year probably doesn't make more than 20, 30 grand, being honest, right? The average agent, brand new. But their skill set grows. The good news is because it's renewals, they're going to get paid that money again, and it's just going to compound. So don't quit, man.
How
this
important
is
is it for
such a
them
beautiful
to,
business and
Yeah,
rewarding.
that's a really good answer. How important is it, really last question, how important is it for them to compare themselves to their own potential? Because you just said the average is 20 or 30K, and you're probably right. But there's an agent out there that made 60 their first year, and
Right.
they're looking at me, and they're either thinking, oh crap, I sucked, or they're making 200, and they're like, well, I'm good. I just doubled up Cody, whatever. Like, how important is it to compare themselves to their true potential? 'Cause that's really hard. The more you get, the more successful you get, the longer you've been in the business, or when you're early on and you think, man, I'm horrible.
Yeah. No, it's extremely important. There's a certain amount of brutal honesty that you have to have with yourself to admit the areas that you're not very good at and be honest. Like, I'm not good at this, so I'm going to work on it. Versus taking the opposite approach, like, well, it was just the leads suck or the people suck, right? No, I'm just not as good at closing yet, or I'm just not working hard enough to talk to all the people I need to meet my closing rate, whatever it might be, to get my sit rate. Be honest with yourself. Yes, accept responsibility. 100.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, then if you can really truly be honest with yourself about your shortcomings and your faults and the things that you do need to improve on, well, then you have the ability now to improve on. Because if you continually lie to yourself and like, no, the leads suck, or this sucks, or this is why it was raining today, that's why I couldn't make any money. If you constantly use those excuses, you're going to hold yourself back and you'll never develop.
Yeah.
So if you can, one, be really honest about who you are, and then compare yourself based on that potential, and make sure when you're comparing yourself to other agents, you're comparing yourself against the right agents. If you're a brand new guy in a year, and you wrote 50 apps through AEP for the first time, which is not bad at all, and you're looking at people that are posting that, that they wrote 500 apps through AEP or 300 apps, most of the time those are people who've been doing this for a long time. And they have a big book of business that they're managing at the same time. So a lot of those aren't even organic growth, that's replacement business as well. So don't beat yourself up as a new guy comparing yourself to people that have been doing it for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. If you're brand new, compare yourself to the new people. If you've been doing it for 10 years, compare yourself to the people who've been doing it 10 years. Because that's when now you're on the same ground and balance, and you're getting a little better feedback that's going to be honest. And it's going to tell you, it's going to give you the confidence and like, wow, I've been doing this 10 years and I'm actually beating people that have also been doing it 10 years. Or, and then maybe that's also a note that maybe you have some stuff to teach then. And then if you're brand new and you're, same thing, right? I wrote 100 apps my first year, for example. This guy wrote 120. Okay, it's kind of balanced. He's a little better than me. Maybe I can learn something from him, whatever the case. But make sure, be honest about your own skills, and then compare yourself to the right people.
Boom. I love that. Okay, you guys go look this dude up. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Tony Merwin, just like it sounds. Okay, TonyMerwin. It ain't that hard. Go look him up, find him, add him, reach out to him, ask him some questions. One of my favorite dudes in the business. thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I always love hanging out with you. Anytime.
Until next time.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're gonna love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there. Okay, I'm gonna jump into the content. I've got a 6-page ebook. If you would like a free copy of the ebook, go to CodyAskins.com/ebook. Okay, write that down, go on your phone. You can even grab it now and follow along. Again, CodyAskins.com, my first name, last name.com /